What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for a preview stream, and welcome back to Rez. Thanks for coming back today in place of Sim. How you doing, Rez?
Very well, Ben. Thank you for having me on.
No, it's great to have you back in the studio, and an extra special good morning to everyone from Germany, especially from the Frankfurt region as well. I very much enjoyed that last night. Great games of football last night. West Ham, I thought they got pretty much well beat yesterday. I thought Frankfurt played really well, but there is a second leg to go, and we'll see what happens there. And they've turned it around before. Will they turn it around again? But well played to Frankfurt last night. Did you get to see much of any of the games last night?
Not a lot of them. I sort of caught a few highlights, but because I was streaming on about Spurs and complaining about Spurs as we often do, but bits and pieces, sort of the match reports and stuff. And yeah, as far as we can see, the result was fair. It wasn't as if Frankfurt came along and did a smash and grab. It was a case of they were properly beaten. So yeah.
All right, so obviously big game this weekend in search of the top four race. Tottenham against Leicester. And when Tottenham usually play Leicester, usually goals amongst it. If you bring up that graphic, the kind of head-to-head between Spurs or the form, all right. The form, Leicester, Jekyll and Hyde team at the moment. Spurs, also a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team at the moment. In terms of the way Leicester... You just don't know what kind of team Leicester are going to put out this weekend. Obviously, they drew 1-1 last night in the Conference League semi-final against Jose Mourinho's Roma. When you're looking at it, as opposed to the West Ham game, West Ham know they can still potentially get Europe through the league. And with them losing, they might have actually one eye on this game this weekend, thinking, you know what, if this European campaign falls away in this semi-final, they've got that backup of the league where they can still potentially get into Europa League via the league. Leicester don't really have that. Leicester's eggs are all in the Conference League basket to get into that European spot next year. Do you think that is massively going to play into our hands this weekend?
I'm not sure how much it's going to sort of play into our hands, but it's certainly a consideration. Brendan Rodgers will want... he will want in his third season to make this statement. I think there are question marks over him as a manager longevity-wise in terms of being able to stay at a club and be effective for long periods. If you look back over his career, it's been quite short-term in terms of his appointment. But again, that league consideration is also a factor in what Leicester are going to do. Whether that means that they will field a deliberately weakened team is questionable. We don't know because, again, what's going through Rodgers' mind. But it could be a factor or an advantage that we can take. That will be an advantage for us this weekend potentially. Yeah.
It always has to play like Spurs and Arsenal both going for the same prize, and on the weekend they both have the teams that are in the middle of European. So it's just crazy the way things work out sometimes. But when you're looking at the head-to-head between Spurs and Leicester, there's always goals. This game always throws up goals. Earlier on in the season, Bergwijn scoring 2 in the last few minutes. And I thought, people say that we got lucky that game because of the way we won the game, but ultimately we actually played them off the park that day, didn't we?
We did. It really was a case of two individual moments where it was like the mistake they fully capitalised on. And funnily enough, in a similar fashion that we've been doing up until the last couple of games. We hurt Newcastle, we hurt Villa when they showed just the tiniest little bit of vulnerability, and we took full advantage. That's what they did to us up at their place. The thing that I'm keen to see this weekend is Harry Kane, because he loves scoring against Leicester, absolutely loves scoring against Leicester. Ironically, I believe he was on loan with them at some point in his career early on as well, so maybe that's it. Let's see if he can actually start getting back on the score sheet, because it's been barren for him for a few games now, and it's worrying. But Spurs-Leicester is always high scoring. very rarely do we see, if ever, I can't even remember a dull sort of 0-0 or 1-1 draw or anything like that. I think it's going to be a bit of a ding-dong. The hope is that we can get back to winning ways, because we've sort of stuttered a little bit the last couple of games.
I mean, it's imperative to get back to winning ways, because if we win on Sunday, that automatically straight away puts pressure back onto Arsenal.
Absolutely.
They play directly after our game, and obviously their fans will have the keen eye on the Spurs game earlier on. And if we put Leicester away convincingly, how much pressure does that put on Arsenal later on in the day?
I think a fair amount. The key here when it comes to that pressure is the age of Arsenal's squad. It's a very, very young squad. They're not necessarily been in this position much themselves. Yes, obviously they have lifted trophies in the last few seasons. I'm not going to deny that. But it's a different prospect when it comes to the league. It's a different proposition when you have, after this game, you've still got games to go. It's not like a one-off in a trophy where you're through to the next round. I think it's something to consider, but we still really need to focus on ourselves more than anything else. It has to be a case of Spurs going out there and playing because we want to win the game, for ourselves, not necessarily to get a particular league position, although that's always a consideration, or to put pressure on Arsenal. That should be out of their minds. It should be, we have to show that we are good enough on Saturday. I think that's the primary consideration.
Completely agree with that. I mean, I don't know what's happened over the last couple of games, but our play seems to be completely all over the place. Harry Kane's doesn't seem to be dropping deep too much, or influence and play when he does drop deep. Our attacking play, it seems to be completely disjointed. What do we need to do in this game to get back to what we were doing a couple of games ago?
Replace Emerson. I'm sorry, I know it sounds.
Is it as simple as that though? Because we went to Man City away with Emerson and won.
The thing there is that what I've noticed, it boils down to Kulusevski. When Emerson is in the side, Kulu becomes, or seems to become, I can't say this for certain, it's the sort of trend that you think might be happening. He doesn't seem to be as effective because he's worried about what's happening sort of behind him or to his right flank. It also has an effect on Romero's play because you can also see that he's got one eye on what's happening on the right flank to sort of cover for Emerson's weakness. Obviously, Doherty, we're not going to talk about his overall Spurs career, but when we were battering teams recently, when he was in the side, I think that gave Kulu a bit more time. There's also the aspect of the fact that, it might just have been a purple patch that he was going through and that's gone away. I think Emerson makes the team very disjointed. There's worry. It's like, what's going to happen on the right? I mean, that pass that he made late in the game against Brentford.
Just before he got taken off.
Yeah, I mean, that really exemplifies the weakness that he brings to that side. Football is a team game. Yes, you can cover for a weak player, but even the weakest player contributes something. At the moment, for whatever reason, and I'm not going to hate on him, I'm just stating the facts, he's not contributing anything. Against Man City, I think we played very, very defensive, and that worked for us, and we were really compact. So that weakness was mitigated a little bit, hence why I think we managed to win. But when we're trying to go for your Brentfords and your Brightons who sit deep, and so we become more expansive, that extra space that he has to fill in, he's not doing an effective job in my view.
Yeah, and when you compare him to Matt Doherty, because everyone had problems with Matt Doherty last season, earlier parts of this season. I mean, his link-up play with Kulu is just, it seems a bit more natural, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think
much
so.
More natural.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, we know that Doherty made his name as a wing-back. He didn't make his name as a full-back. There is an argument to say that the reason that Doherty's Spurs career up until recently wasn't particularly good is because he was being deployed as a fullback, whereas now that he's being deployed as a wing-back, with all the extra work that Conte has said that he has done himself, that has led to a resurgence or a resuscitation of his career. 6 or however many games it was is not really enough to make a full determination as to where he specifically still is now, but the signs were good. Emerson doesn't have that. And we've also got weaknesses on the left of the field two with our fullbacks there, where we don't have one that is complete in terms of wing back. One of them is very good going forward. One of them is better playing towards the back or more defensively. You know, it's almost like if you could combine Reguilón and Sessegnon together, you know, Cesselon, then you might have your decent left wing back. And Conte's system will rely on having that channel or having that option for players in the middle.
Yeah, you'd probably trust Daniel Levy to bring up some sort of player merging instead of buying a new left wing back anyway.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, cheaper for him. Yeah, Tottenham Hotspur cloning facility.
Exactly. Yeah. But how do we go about this game then? You know, you talk about Emerson. First of all, with Emerson, do you think that his flaws are something that can be coached into him, or do you think it's more or less you just get rid this summer?
I think it's both. I think you can coach it into him, but you can't coach it into him quickly enough for him to be a realistic option next season. I've said it before, Spurs should not be a nursery club. We are not a club in which players come to develop the fundamentals of their game. By all means, have players that develop. We've had players that have developed. Bale developed, you know, from a left back that we lost every time he played, not because of him, that's just coincidence, I was saying, to being a world-class player, truly world-class player. Modric, likewise, he came in as this promising deep-lying midfielder and became a world-class player. But both of those players had a good fundamental basis when they arrived. Emerson right now doesn't seem to have what's required. And for me, I hope he does. I hope he has a successful career. I hope he becomes a established, great fullback. But I don't want my club to suffer while he gets there. Agreed. Is the key.
I completely agree. And, you know, there's a clear blueprint when you look at the last three games even with that first half of the Aston Villa, even the first half of the Newcastle game. I mean, there's a clear blueprint of how teams are combating Spurs at the moment, packing them midfield, 2 or 3 men on Harry Kane at all times, pretty much. Do you think Leicester follow that blueprint? And if they do, how do we work around that? And who would you like to see at right wing back?
I would like to see anyone but Emerson at right wing back.
Would you put Kulu there and kind of maybe break up what's been so good for us in the past month or so?
Offer me anything, Ben, seriously. When I say it, it sounds harsh and it sounds as if I'm having a go at the player personally. I'm really not. It's not about Emerson. I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt again. Certainly not for a number of years. If, say, for instance, he goes and then at the age of 27, he's become this amazing wing back and we sign him again, yeah, great. I'd welcome him back with open arms. But right now, I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt. If you said to me, you know, the lineup comes out on Sunday and Kulu's at right wing back, Bergwijn's at right wing back, Mora's at right wing back, even Reguilón or Sessegnon's at right wing back, I would be happier with that than with Emerson. I think Leicester will probably try and play the game that Brighton and Brentford have played with us. And getting around that, you need something effective on the flanks. You have to. So that if Kane gets marked out of the game at points, you've got another outlet. You've got another outball. Otherwise, all that will happen is that the defence will sort of will shield the goal. You know, we've not been shipping goals, thankfully. At least that hasn't been happening. They will shield and the goal. They will have their midfielders with Bentancur and Højbjerg in front of them doing the same thing. But then where do you go? You just recycle the ball between that back five, try and play an out ball forward, which, you know, doesn't come off because Kane isn't there and the other two are too far advanced. You have to be able to rely on your wing backs to provide that release of pressure. If they're not effective, if they're both not effective, it's a problem. If you at least had one that was effective, it would have been okay. But we don't seem to have that at all at the moment.
And like even on the left-hand side, as much as we talk about Emerson, nobody really talks too much about the flaws on the left-hand side because Reguilón has his own issues. He also hasn't really been contributing for a while now. Sessegnon came in against Brentford and I thought he didn't add anything really to that left-hand side. So what do we do to the left-hand side as much as we need surgery on the right-hand side?
what I take encouragement in is that Conte will spend the week before the game doing drills, just going over and over and over and over and over with the players what they need to be doing in the game situation, which I think is okay for now until he gets to a pre-season. I have confidence that the likes of Reguilon and Sessegnon will take those instructions on board. With Emerson, and I don't want to keep harping on about Emerson, I'm just doing the comparison. With him, he doesn't even seem to get those instructions right because the fundamentals aren't there. They at least have got a grasp of the fundamentals. They're not great crossers, which is important, but they still can occasionally get a decent cross in, more often than not, or at least put some pressure on the opposition defence, whereas Emerson can't. I'm concerned. We need improvements, but I wouldn't be as worried on the left as I am on the right because it's Emerson or nothing. With the left, if he wants to put more pressure on, he can play Sessegnon, who's the more attacking of the two, or if he wants to play more counter, he can play Reguilon, who is the more defensive of the two. Not as worried as the right, obviously worried, but it's not something that I would lose that much sleep over right now, I would say.
Fair enough. And I'm not sure if you've watched too much Leicester over the past couple of weeks, but they really are very much a Jekyll and Hyde team. They've been struggling with injuries all season. Brendan Rodgers have got this knack of, having a really strong start with a club and then maybe falling off a bit. He did it at Liverpool, doing it again at Leicester. I'm not sure if it's to do with Brendan why they've fallen off or just because of the mad injury problems they have had in defence this season. But they are in a European semi-final this season, so you've got to give them credit for that. Yeah. But how do we combat this Leicester side? And I personally think it's going to be a much changed Leicester side, and I think that they're going to put all their eggs in the Conference League basket. They know they've got a very tough tie next week out in Rome against the Jose Mourinho side, who was really doing the shithouser at the best yesterday with Roma. So how do we combat this Leicester side? And I personally think it should be a bit of an easier game with the fringe players coming in for Leicester. Yeah,
if that's what they do, I think so. But as you say, they are very changeable. You don't know which Leicester is going to turn up, even regardless of which personnel they play. This, I think, is a bit of a hallmark of a Rodgers side, is that when he first arrives, he instills this confidence in them and everyone's sort of hale and hearty and is enjoying life under Brendan. And then around the third season, things start to become a little loose with him. We saw it at Liverpool. I don't think we got the opportunity to see it at Celtic because he was poached by Leicester, but I think that it probably would have happened. We saw it with Swansea. He started really well and then things started to fall away. What Leicester will turn out, this is probably one of the hardest games that to analyse for the whole season because it's late in the campaign. There are other considerations at play. Form will be a factor to consider, and the changeability of Leicester will also be a factor. With my faithful hat on, it's like, Spurs are going to batter them 4-0. But the realist in me, the pragmatist, will say, who knows, really? Who knows?
Yeah, no, I completely agree because it's such a big week for Leicester. I just don't think this is going to be on the top of their priority list. Like I said before, I think for them to qualify in the league, for Europe through the league, is just pretty much all done. As opposed to when you look at the other game, Arsenal-West Ham, because West Ham lost last night, they had all their eggs in the Europa League basket. But because they lost last night, surely a few doubts are going through their mind thinking, you know what, if we lose this game against Frankfurt next week, we can be out of all Europe completely together. So they actually got to look at this Arsenal game and think, we need to get something out of this game in case we do lose next week, because all the season could completely fall apart.
You'd certainly hope so. They've got Wolves breathing down their necks. West Ham have achieved this season. You have to give them credit for what they have done. Obviously, we don't like them, because we're normal. But they've done well, and they should, this weekend, go all out for the 3 points. They shouldn't be thinking about what might happen in Frankfurt next week. It should be a case of we need 3 points. We have to at least make sure if we don't win a European trophy this season, we're at least in Europe next season. given their start, given how well they've done up until this point, it would be an utter waste for them to throw it all away betting on a single result against Frankfurt next week. So that's the hope that they will give Arsenal a challenge and demonstrate the brittleness of that Arsenal squad, because I still believe it's there.
Yeah, but we all know the way West Ham think about us and the way we think about them. I mean, I wouldn't put it past their fans to just want them to lose this weekend anyway, just to screw us in the back.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy watching that game last night, I'm not going to lie. If you bring up the star men for Leicester, obviously you got Jamie Vardy and Maddison. Who knows if they're going to play or not. But Jamie Vardy, only in 19 games, 10 goals and 2 assists. That's pretty good going. I mean, he had a really strong start to the season, and he had his injury problems to contend with. And James Maddison as well, who's had a pretty strong season by all accounts, 8 goals and 5 assists.
Yep.
Apart from these two, are there any other danger men for you for Leicester?
I don't follow them that closely, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Possibly Tielemans, but he's funnily enough like the club he plays for, a bit Jekyll and Hyde. He will do some amazing things and then do something ridiculous, like give away that third goal for us when we played them. Vardy and Maddison are the threat. It's clear as day. Vardy has come back from injury. In 19 appearances, 12 goal contributions. That's a really good return, especially for a player of his age. He doesn't seem to be showing any signs of slowing down, which I thought might happen by this point. Apparently not. Maddison makes them tick.
Yeah.
He is a supremely good midfielder. Those are the ones to worry about.
Yeah.
They will probably keep their sort of counter-attack philosophy. That's sort of how they like playing, because they want to exploit Vardy's pace. Whether or not that will give us opportunities or not, I don't know, because we're not doing wonderfully well when we're given space. We like to be compacted and then spring. Whether it will turn into that, I don't know.
They've also obviously got good young players, Dewsbury Hall, Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes not on that list. I mean, I do suspect that Harvey Barnes could be rested because he is a very important player for them. Dewsbury Hall's a player who's had he did play last season and a couple of seasons ago as well, but I think he's had a somewhat breakout season this year, and I really have been impressed with the way he plays his football. So there are quite a few players on this Leicester team to watch out. When I look at Tielemans, I mean, he seems like a player who I really, really rate, and I would like him at Tottenham. He is leaving Leicester in the summer, but he doesn't seem to have the same sort of passion for the game this season as he has done maybe in the previous couple of seasons. If you remember when we played them at, I was about to say Filbert Street, but the King Power. I remember when we played them at the King Power, he was the one that gave away the ball in the last minute. All he needed to do was keep the ball, and that's a draw for Leicester.
Yep. But
he dribbles it out, loses the ball, and that's not really something that you want from one of your kind of more experienced players.
Correct.
So I've got reservations about Tielemans, but I still think he's a top quality player. But they've got players on that pitch that can hurt us. Like I said, Harvey Barnes, Vardy, Dewsbury Hall, James Maddison. But it just remains to be seen if any of these players are going to play. We just don't know how Brendan Rodgers views this game.
That's it, exactly. I mean, as you say, Dewsbury Hall is a really exciting young player. I think he's going to start developing into a really, really good midfielder. Tielemans has developed into a decent midfielder. I wouldn't mind seeing him at Spurs. I would be interested to see what Conte could do with him development-wise, and how he could potentially contribute. This is, again, we keep coming back to it. Which Leicester is going to turn up? Which Leicester is it going to be?
And which Tottenham are going to turn up too?
Absolutely. In a way, it's like two very, very similar clubs. It's a case of what mentality is Tottenham going to show on the field on Sunday, and also what mentality are Leicester going to show. Either way, I think is going to be one of those games where it will be breathless or in a very, very a complete departure from type, it will be the first or one of the few very, very boring Spurs Leicester games. I think it'll be the former though.
Yeah, I can't see it being a boring game. I mean,
No.
when Spurs play Leicester, there's always goals. Always 3-2 in the last game,
Yep.
4-2 in the previous game, 2-0, 3-0, 2-1 to Leicester. I mean, I remember going the back end of the season, we beat them 6-1 at the King Power. You know, there've been such great games between Spurs and Leicester over the years, haven't there?
Yeah, even going back to the 60s and the FA Cups. Yes, it's true. It will be. I think I agree with you. I think it will be a proper sort of competition. It will be a real contest. You know, when we played them at the King Power, it was sort of we went ahead. It was 2-0 or 2-1, and we looked comfortable. And sorry, it was 1-0 up, and then we looked comfortable. We didn't look to be in any danger, and then suddenly, you know, two quick goals in succession by them, and it was turned the whole game on head. And then we did the same back to them. Yeah, it's going to be. I predict it's going to be a very exciting game. There's going to be goals. I reckon it could turn into another 3-2.
Interesting. Is that your prediction?
That's not my prediction, but I can see it happening.
Having said that, what is your prediction then?
I've got to use my I have faith hat. That's this one. And I'm going to say 4-1 Spurs. Sorry,
4-1.
Bob, I know I'm stealing your prediction, but yeah, I'm going to say 4-1 Spurs.
Wow. Who's going to get the goals?
Kane will get 2, Sonny will get another 1, and let's play a wild card and say Bentancur for the 4th.
I like that. I think Bentancur as well. I think his performance levels has slightly dropped over the past couple of games, but that kind of is expected when they're completely outnumbering us in midfield. So it's very hard for him and Højbjerg to really progress the ball through the midfield when they are packing the midfield. But my prediction, I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs, just a level below yours.
A little bit, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm going to go 3-1, and I back Kane to get back on the score sheet as well this weekend. I'm going to get him for 2 goals, and as well, I'm going to go for Sonny. I'm not going for a wild card, so I'm just going to go for those 2.
That's why you should say 4, because then you've got a wild card as well.
All right, 4-1, just for you, Bob, just for you. So anyway, that's our score predictions. That is our match preview for the game this weekend. If you want to catch the watch along, we've got Bob Spur TV back on the watch along this weekend. So a massive weekend, not just for football, but just in the studio. It's going to be massive. Bob Spur and Sim in the studio. I'll be in the stadium. Are you going to be in the ground?
I'm going to be in the ground, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll be catching all the action and sending it in for you guys to see. But just before we move on to the guests, I've got an app to talk to you about that we are in collaboration with. The app is called BetMate. It's a fantasy football gambling app. This weekend we've got a game just for Spurs Leicester, completely free to enter, and there is £100 pot going on there. So obviously the winner doesn't win £100, but they win a 50% share. So I think the winner gets 50. Second gets 25, and then the third gets £20 or something like that. But do play. It's a really fun game. You'll be going head-to-head with me and Sim. And if Rez gets involved, you'll be going head-to-head with him. But it's completely free to play. Nice. If you bring up the next picture, you'll see the code for the league. So if you download the app BetMate, the code is SPU-RSTV. The link is in the description below as well. So go and join the game this weekend. It's just for the Spurs Leicester game. So you pick, I think it's about 5 or 6 players just for the Spurs Leicester game, and it's like the same kind of rules as fantasy football, just with a few extras as well. So download that app and come and play the game with us, completely free to play this weekend. So yeah, just let's have a bit of fun. And also, just before we get on to the guests, I want to talk to you about something shocking that has happened over the past week with this fan who's got diagnosed with terminal cancer, 11 days out from being a senior citizen in terms of season ticket renewals, which is today, season ticket renewals. The club, he asked for the club to give him the senior citizen discount. The club outright refused, saying there's nothing we can do, the corporate jargon that they like to give. 11 days out, and this guy doesn't know if he's going to last the season. And they refuse to give him that discount. And I think that is an absolute, utter disgrace from this football club. And where is the human element of this football club gone?
to say that I'm outraged by this is to put it very mildly. I can't express just how angry this makes me. It is soulless to do something like this.
Yeah.
I don't blame necessarily the staff in the ticket office because they made
just following orders, aren't they?
Exactly. They made the request, or this gentleman, I think it is, made the request via comms channels first and was refused, and then they went to the ticket office himself and a couple of others, and the staff there refused to help. I don't blame them because they will be following orders. This transcends football. This transcends the club. This is basic humanity. 11 days. 11 days is all there is. I mean, really, what will the club lose by giving this person who won't be with us for much longer, which is sad enough, it's tragic, and has the other thing to remember is that this person has been following Spurs for 50 years, has been a season ticket holder for 50 years. I got an email the other day, thank you for renewing your season ticket and for your loyalty. So if loyalty is important, this person has shown 50 years of loyalty. Perhaps a little bit of loyalty back is in order.
100%. And it's not just in order, but it should be a given right. If they expect the given right of us fans to be loyal, they should be loyal to us as well. And for a fan to be going for as long as he has, you know, even if the fan hadn't been going for as long, even if the fan had only been a season ticket for the last 5 years, I still expect something like that to be done.
Absolutely.
You know, but for 50, 60 years, for a fan to be going 50, 60 years and for that to happen, it's just a goddamn piss take, really.
I would encourage every Spurs fan to talk about this publicly amongst yourselves. Go onto social media and highlight this case and say to people, look, this is happening and it's not on. Forget whatever disagreements we might have with each other, and there's lots of them, and that happens everywhere. This is why I say it transcends all of that stuff. It's beyond that. You know, there just comes a point where basic human decency and sympathy is shared by all, and this is one of them. Talk about this and get the club to do something. And what I would also stress we shouldn't accept is player X saying, "Oh, I have decided to help this person." No, it should be the club this time. It should be the actual organisation, because a player who gets £250,000 a week, it's a drop in the ocean for their weekly salary, and it's an even smaller drop in the ocean for the club. So it should be of even less difficulty for them. So why not just do it? Just do the right thing, Spurs. It won't cost you that much. It's not that important to make sure that that balance sheet equates precisely to your projections. Just do it.
And you're talking about a couple of £100 here, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? For them, it's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come out of the club's pocket, just let it come out of Daniel Levy's pocket. You know what I mean? He takes enough money from this club anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, I think we needed to get that off our chests.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to talk about. And and look who we got in the background up next.
Rubbing his
hands. And you know what? He looks a bit like him this morning with his nicely shined head.
He's going mad already. Don't say that.
But I've
unplugged slightly. There with.
Bear with us. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Oh. Stand by, folks.
Stand by me.
Oh. Is that mine?
It's all kicking off in the studio now. But yeah, there's your plug.
Thank you.
Let's bring on a very special guest, Brian Dahill. Brian, how's it going, man?
Happy season ticket renewal day to you all, where you can give the bastard some more money. Do you know what? I literally thought I'd be able to go a day or come on here and not even bring him up myself, and then you brought this horrific.
I think it's important to speak about, Brian, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I tweeted at Tottenham this yesterday morning because they just so happened to show Ben Davies and Joe Rodon going to that little kid's house, which is all lovely and great job by Spurs. But you forget to mention the old person that's been supporting the club up and down the country for 50, 60 years, has probably given God knows how much money into this club, has supported them through thick and thin, was had a season ticket before Levy was even fucking born, the good old days as they were. And he doesn't even want a free season ticket. He wants the senior citizen concession because it's 2 weeks or 11 days, as it's been told, after the deadline. And this just shows the lack of class, the lack of morals, the lack of ethics, the lack of anything this club has got anymore. It's hideous, it's heinous, and it just sums everything up that why I fight against this man.
Yeah, I completely agree. But there is a big game to talk about this weekend, Spurs against Leicester. First of all, what kind of lineup do you think Leicester are going to be putting out this weekend? Because obviously they've got Conference League this week, drew 1-1 last night. And, you know, you got to think that most of their eggs should be in the Conference League basket, seeing as European qualification through the league looks unlikely, should I say.
It does, Ben. And first of all, Rez, I was very, very pleasantly shocked to see you there today. I was like, okay, let's have a chat with Ben and Tim. I was like, that's not, but it's good to see you, brother.
And you,
but
mate.
yeah, do you know what? We did our Leicester preview with a Leicester fan. Me and Bob Spur did with a guy we become very good friends with, Wayne, and he was saying, do you know, when they drew with Eindhoven in the same situation, they made 8 changes for the next league game. 8, which is obviously will bear us in good. Will do us good if they do that. But this is a semi-final, isn't it? So he's and obviously he's got to think, if I don't make it, what we're going to do. So I can see some. I can't see as many as 8 changes, but again, Leicester can be a tricky team. Like you said, they're very, very Jekyll and Hyde. But if James Maddison is on that pitch, set pieces we can't give away.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Harvey Barnes and Dewsbury Hall. They have been having a wonderful season as well. It's going to be Leicester. It's always a entertaining game, isn't it?
Always is.
There's an interesting comment here by John Rasher saying that basically we get beaten by teams that are represented by animals. So we got wolves, eagles, bees, seagulls. Is it going to be foxes as well this weekend?
Oh, do you know what? That would just be another great stat to add to the many. Not just about players on the pitch now. We're being Spursy against animals. Only us. Only us.
But we're an animal ourselves. We're
exactly.
A cockerel, you know,
exactly.
Surely.
Yeah, but we have a cock leading us, so that's where that reference is. So yeah, get back to Spurs Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the Spurs lineup, are you of the same opinion that just Emerson needs to just come out of the team?
Do you know what? This is really hard. He does. He is obviously the weakest link, but do you want to experiment with something and have him on the bench? And if it all goes Pete Tong, you're bringing Emerson on to clear it up. that to me is even a worse scenario than having him start. I mean, what I would like to see, the thing I would like to see from us, especially at home, is drop one of the central defensive midfielders and go for it. We need wins. We need to put pressure on. And Bentancur's recovering from a knock the last couple of games. They've both been against Brighton. Only Højbjerg, I think, was the player that turned up. And against Brentford, they were both null and void. So I think just bring on an extra attacker. Try and get Bergwijn in the game somehow. So there's at least a more attacking threat to go for the goals. Because we need to win. There's no more of this, if you don't win, just don't lose. We need to win now. To put the pressure back on Arsenal.
If you do take out one of the central midfielders, one of Højbjerg and Bentancur, you're saying,
yep.
Who do you put in? And does you not think that makes our midfield even weaker than it has been? Because the last couple of weeks, people have been targeting that midfield, packing the midfield, and overrunning us in midfield. And if we take out one of those midfielders, doesn't that leave us more susceptible to that?
It can do that, but then also if you bring on Bergwijn, there's more pace and being direct. So I think, and someone that can actually deliver a cross. Let's face it, because our wing backs can't. So at least someone. I think Sean Butler said when he was on the watch along with you or for you last week, when it got to like the 50th minute, do you know what? I'd rather have an attacker on and go for it and say we went for it rather than just sit back and just see this out as a boring draw like we did. So for me, we need a quick start. Ben and Rez, you know full well, if we don't get off to a fast start, that crowd is not going to be very happy.
I say play Bergwijn out there. Just play him as a winger.
Instead of who?
Instead of Emerson. Just play a lopsided, 4-3-4. Oh, sorry, 3-4-4.
3-4-4. We're playing with 12 men.
Oh, if only. We need them. 3-3-4.
I'll tell you what, honestly, whenever people come on this channel, like I did when we took over, maths goes out the window.
Yes.
You can play with 13 men on WeAreTottenhamTV. It all works. So, the right formation.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, the last couple of games, the opposition have had 12 men with the referee, so I think we should be able to field an extra man.
We should. I completely agree. We should. I mean, we spoke about different variations, me and Sim, on the channel a couple of days ago.
Great video that was.
4-2-3. Thank you. We were 4-2-3-1. We looked at a 3-5-2. The one I was really looking at was the 3-5-2 with potentially Winks in the middle. I know nobody wants to see Winks, but when you're looking at the 3-5-2, when you have an extra man in midfield, Winks usually does well in a three-man midfield. Would you consider that? Oh,
is he frozen?
He's frozen.
No,
I am inclined to agree with you with the formation. No. Am I still with you?
Yes.
You're breaking.
Hello?
Oh, yeah. I can see you now.
You can see me now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So, 3-5-2 is definitely my preferred formation, Ben. And you're right. Harry Winks cannot play in a 2. He can only play in a 3. But it's such a tough. The second he does something wrong, the crowd will turn. And every time he gets the ball, there will be a shrug and they'll be like, oh, here we go. And I don't think now is the time. We don't need that. I don't even know. Could you, it's so hard. But yeah, I'd love to see us with a 3-5-2, even with Bergwijn on there. Put Bergwijn as a third midfielder. Just put him a little bit more advanced. I'd rather see that than Winks.
What about a 3-5-2 with Kane as the third midfielder, playing just a tiny bit more further forward, and then put a Bergwijn up top with Sonny on the left and Kulu on the right?
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Well done. Antonio, if you're watching, that's what we should do. That's what we should do. He's been saying that he sees Bergwijn more as a up-top man. So now's your shot. Or there is a scenario where you can get everyone in. And that's what I would do now.
There is one small issue. This is why I think he's going to persist with Emerson tomorrow. I think it's a case of he would rather know where the weakness in his squad is than potentially risk something going wrong. That's why I think he's been playing Emerson, even though he dropped him for Doherty and was only re-included him because he had to. I think it's a case of devil you know.
Do you know what, Rez? I hope he does play Emerson tomorrow because then he can't play Sunday. So let's do that. Let's do that. Emerson can play 90 minutes tomorrow.
Timekeeping, it all goes out the window in the studio.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's going to stick with this 3-4-3. He's very. We've learned this, isn't it? He's very, very stubborn with this. It's not up for debate or it's not up for change, and then we'll see what happens. But I would love to see the 3-5-2. That's my favourite formation. If you look how we did it against Liverpool in the home leg, I think that was our best 90 minutes of the season, in all honesty.
All right, Brian. Well, what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
2-1 Tottenham.
2-1. Who's going to get the goals?
2-1 Tottenham. Well, every time I've said I think number 10 is going to score, he hasn't. So I'm not going to predict him at all. I'm going to go with
Emerson,
right? Go for 2 wild cards. I'm going for 2 wild cards. So I'll say Emerson just because we've spoken about him so much. And Romero. We're going for the Defenders Day.
Excellent.
All right, brilliant. Thanks for coming on, Brian.
Oh, he's flexing.
You're more than welcome.
Well, they must have like a 9-pack now, your fingers now.
Mate, we're getting there. You'll see when I'm back. When I'm back, I've been picking up luggage like this. And as always, Levy out.
Big up, Brian. Thanks for coming on today, mate. Always great to chat to you. Let's go on to our next guest, and that is Asan. How you doing, Asan?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah,
good, mate. Good to see you back. You got some confidence about you this weekend. Are we going to get back to winning ways?
I hope so.
I
So do
can't look
I.
through and I can't look through another no shots on target anymore. But look, it depends on what Leicester show up really, because I think we're going to play the same way we always play. I don't think I'm going to like everyone on Twitter, everyone on Instagram. They're saying change our right wing back and change all this, but realistically, I think he's going to stick with the 3-4-3, and he's just going to like Brian was saying earlier. He'd rather know where the weakness is than experiment with 5 games to go. So, look, we beat them last time, so hopefully we do do it again.
Do you think that the game, Leicester's European exploits are going to play a factor in this game? Do you think they're going to field a much changed team this weekend?
I think they'll change it a bit. They have to. I think they're sitting 10th or 11th in the league, so they're not really going to get European qualification to the league. So they'll have to be through winning the Conference League. That's their best bet. So I reckon they would do some changes, but I think they'll still leave someone like a Madison on because they know that we're so bad at set pieces, and they'll look to try and target that somehow. So I think he'll still stay on, but they'll probably rotate around that.
And how much do you think that will play into our hands, or do you think it doesn't really matter too much, or we just need to concentrate on ourselves and concentrate on our own
I think
game?
it's just concentrating on ourselves. I think if we start looking at, this is going to be easy, and not playing their starting lineup, the players might start playing a bit more, like slow, and they might be a bit more relaxed, and we can't be relaxed from the get-go. We have to be on it. We have to be pressing them, pushing up the pitch, with the crowd behind them, putting pressure on everyone, on Leicester. And because the thing with Tottenham, once we get one goal, the next couple goals are going to come, because teams start opening up, and that's when we're most deadly, when we have space in behind for Kulu and Sonny to run into. So if we can get one goal and it goes into 2, I have no real worry that we'll come through. But it's getting that first goal,
getting that first shot on target, never mind goal.
First shot on target. Yeah.
What do you guys think about? I mean, we've spoken throughout the fan base a lot about we buckle under pressure. Isn't there an argument to say that actually being in the position we're in now brings its own pressure as well? Because when you're chasing, there's still a requirement for you to catch. So do you think that pressure might help us, or do you think it's going to be a hindrance again?
I think especially when there's only 5 games left. I think if it had been a bit more, you think, okay, you can have your off game here and there, but you can push back. But here, if we, at this rate, if we win every single game but Liverpool, and Arsenal win every single game and lose to us, they'll still get top 4. That's the situation we found ourselves in. So we have to hope that they drop points. So whether that will look, when Arsenal lost to Brighton, we beat Villa. Then when we had the advantage, we lost to Brighton. Then when we had another chance to come back, we drew to Brentford. So predicting what's going to happen or what the pressure is going to do to us is almost impossible. But I hope the boys just think, we have to get 3 points no matter what, and just try their best to get the maximum points they can in these last 5 games. Because if we somehow pull off a miracle, and knowing us, we have a chance to beat Liverpool just because of who we are, beating big teams and losing to small teams, we might do it. But I hope, fingers crossed, that the pressure helps us to push on.
Yeah, I mean, to be Spurs, it'd be classic to go and beat Liverpool at Anfield, and then lose to Burnley the next weekend.
Yeah.
That would just be classic.
That would be classic Tottenham. Yeah, absolutely.
100% would do that.
I mean, it's going to be a difficult game this weekend, no matter what. Just not because of the opposition we're playing, but because of the situation we find ourselves in. That's what's really the kind of difficulty I'm seeing here, and I'm thinking that we need to play the opposition and not the occasion. And sometimes Spurs are just too guilty of playing the occasion, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. It is a case of, look, they are going for the title. They're into a semi-final. They're, going to get 4th, and it happens a lot. I've always put that down to our mentality. I think there's been a long-running issue with that. What's one of the hopes that I have for Conte to get rid of, but it's not gone yet.
Yeah, completely agree. How do you think the game's going to run? I mean, when when Spurs are playing well, we're moving the ball quick. We haven't been able to move the ball quick in the last couple of games. They're flooding the midfield. They're following Harry Kane.
I think a big reason is because of Harry Kane getting marked. Because before, defenders pass it out to Højbjerg or Bentancur, they'd do a turn. Kane would be, 10, 15 meters in front of them. Quick pass into him. He'd turn around and we're off. But now that Kane's fully marked, they don't have an outlet to him. And I don't think anyone wants to pass to the right side because Emerson's there. And on the left side, Sessegnon wasn't good in that game. Because I've seen so many times Romero has the ball and he turns towards Emerson and he just double checks and goes back to Dyer.
Yeah.
The amount of times he just doesn't want to pass to Emerson, it completely ruins that right-hand side and it affects Kulusevski as well. Because Doherty and Kulusevski, they're having a nice little partnership on their right-hand side. Because Doherty could do stuff attacking. He could, do little chip balls over the top or quick pass. Emerson can't do any of that.
Is it fair to say, Asan, that there is, at the moment, other than Kane, there is no link between the defence and the attack? So is there anyone in the squad who can fulfil that role, in your view?
Kulusevski, I think, is the only person I think who could have even a slight chance of doing that. I mean, I think people tend to forget that he is a number 10. Like, that's his preferred position. That's where he succeeds the best. That's where in interviews he said he likes to be, behind the front line. When the club announced him on their website, it even says, we've got Dejan Kulusevski, the attacking midfielder from Juventus. So that's his position. That's why I would have wanted a 3-5-2 where he goes into a number 10, Kane and Son sit up top. So we're still using the same personnel. Conte can still have 3 at the back. He can still use his wing backs, but it just adds that extra man in midfield. So now if Kane does drop, now we have 4 there. So now we overrun the midfield again and we can do what we normally do. So I think if anyone were to switch, I would be Kulusevski. There's argument for putting Kane there, but I think as good as he is with his creative abilities, I think you got to have him up top. I mean, he can change one small chance into a goal, and I think you need that in these situations, in these last couple of games.
And what do you do with Emerson this weekend then? I mean, we've spoken about it a lot this weekend. A lot of people want to see him out the team. Some people thinking, Conte's just going to go with what he knows. I think you kind of insinuated that at the beginning of the call, but do you think he will start then?
Yeah, I think Conte. Look, I love Conte. He's brought so much to the club. The fact that we're in this whole top 4 race is down to him. But his only downfall is that if he sticks to what he knows best. He sticks to that. And if it's not working, he'll persist with it. And to be honest, to be fair to him, up until those last 2 games, no one would have wanted to change it.
Yeah.
No one would have been like, oh, we need to get out of this 3-4-3. This 3-4-3 is rubbish. I mean, how could you say that when we were the highest goal-scoring team in 2022?
Yeah.
So he's going to stick to it. Me, personally, I would have liked to get Emerson out there, bring in Lucas or someone, because, regardless if it's going to be a bit weaker defensively, Romero has to cover for Emerson half the time anyway. So Romero just has to do a bit of extra lifting, and we have a better connection on the right-hand side. So me, personally, I would have gone for Lucas, but knowing Conte and knowing the past when things haven't worked, how he still sticks with that 3-4-3, I think Emerson will still play.
All right. And what's your score prediction?
I'm gonna say 3-1. I'm gonna say 3-1 to Tottenham. I just think, if we get a goal early, I think everything will just fall to pieces for Leicester. But if they sit deep, if they try and nullify Kane, it could be another long 90 minutes.
All right, well, great minds think alike. I also went for 3-1. Asan, thanks for coming on today, mate, and we'll see you soon. Actually, I did go for 4. You're right. See you later, Asan.
Only because I prompted you.
You were tying my arms behind my back. That's why.
Bad influence.
We've got a super chat here from Jory, member for 15 months, and he says, I don't dare come on the stream because I jinxed the last 2 games. That's right, it's all about me. The quality quality of the squad has nothing to do with it.
Not absolutely 100%. It's all your fault, Joe. Don't do it again.
Big up, Jory, by the way. Great call. And from one great caller to the next, here's Bobby K. And Kid, here's Bobby K. And Kid, here's Bobby K.
Little K. And little K. Little K.
Little K.
Yeah, don't worry about school, son. We're on We Are Tottenham TV.
Big up, Bobby and Little K. How you doing, guys?
Good morning. Fantastic, fantastic. Happy Friday to you. How you fellas doing? You got the resonator in the house.
Exactly.
Good to see you, pal. You all right?
Brought out the big hitters for the game today, for the game on
Me
Sunday.
Too, me too. You brought your big gun, I brought my big gun.
Exactly.
That's only fair, right?
How you feeling for the game this weekend, Bobby?
You know what? Before we get into the game end of it, Ben, I'm just, Rez, you touched about this. I know you guys have covered this a little bit, but from our perspective, he doesn't really know and everything. And I don't know if the fans fully know in terms of what happened with that elderly gentleman with the ticket and everything like that. It's just disgusting. Like, we are at a new level of low now as a football club in a whole. Levy has taken the soul out of the club. It's we already know the football end of it is not a priority and everything, but this profits before everything now is just absolutely horrid. So what happened is there's a man that's dying. He's an older man, and he's asked for a discount on his season tickets, but because his birthday was 11 days short, right?
Yeah.
So his birthday, he doesn't turn 65, which is the age you get the discount. So he's 11 days before that. So they said, no, because it's 11 days, we can't do anything for you. The man is dying.
And they don't know. I mean, he's been given 18 months to live, but they don't even know if he's going to last the season.
He could go tomorrow. He could go in a month. He might not even get to the season. He might not even complete the season. I mean, I've made my feelings clear on this, but it's worth repeating. This is an outrage.
Yes.
Okay. There just comes a point where if you don't show decency, it's not excusable, and this is one of them, in my view.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. But you know what? Normally Rez and myself are cheerful people. Rez a bit more serious sometimes because, well, he's intellectual. And very just so smart, Rez. But so let's get back into the swing of the fun part of things, guys. I like to have a little bit of a laugh with you guys. It's always good. It is more fun that way.
It's definitely more fun this way. I want to know your opinions on the game and how much maybe the Leicester European campaign might impact the game this weekend.
You know what? They're playing. They played Roma yesterday. It's Friday today. Jeez.
Yeah.
How did that game go against Roma? Actually, I don't even know.
1-1. Finished 1-1. Yeah.
1-0.
They finished 1-0. Okay. And where was that game? That was here, right?
That was in Leicester, yeah, exactly. So they got the return leg in Rome next week, which is obviously a massive game for them. Semi-final of European competition.
With the master Shithouser as the opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's the only thing. I don't want Roma to win just because I don't want to see Mourinho win. But at the end of the day, that'll kind of.
You know what? I think differently to you, Bobby. I want Roma to win because I want Jose Mourinho to win because I want to shove it in Levy's face because he sacked the manager. He sacked the manager 4 days before a cup final.
Yep. It would be the only club he hasn't won a trophy at. I mean, you can't get more Spursy than that. That even this, whatever you think of his character, this serial winner couldn't win at Tottenham. So what chance does anyone else stand?
Well, they didn't even give him the chance because they sacked him a few days before the cup final.
Yeah. I know.
Well,
but it says everything about
we're
the
talking
league
about a guy that denies dying people a discount.
Well, absolutely.
He didn't even use the magic word that the Jewish community and the Indian community love the most: free. He wanted a discount. You're despicable, man. You're despicable. But I don't want to start my day like this. It's 8:09 in the morning. I want to stay positive. I want to think our boys are going to get it done. They're coming into our house. We seriously cannot fudge this up. We got to get it done. My biggest fear is the fact that they were missing so many pieces of the puzzle last time that we came back and won against them. We barely got that win as it was. We barely kind of got to the end of the line, and it was that mistake by who was it? Tielemans, I think it was.
Yeah.
That we nicked the ball from, and then
it was Tielemans. Yeah.
So a player that doesn't normally make those kind of silly mistakes, right? So I don't really want to have to rely on their mistakes for us to be successful. I'm hoping we can come out and play our game. I've said this. I said it on Sean's show the other day. I really want to see Royal just. I want him to sit beside Winks for the next 5 weeks that are left. Just sit beside Winks on the bench.
What, in a 3-man midfield?
Oh my God! Can you imagine Emerson in the midfield?
I didn't say play with Winks. I said sit with him. Sit with him on the damn bench. I'd like to see Cess basically come out to the right side, and then because I know a lot of people don't like having two left-sided players on the right side, both got to come in. So move Sonny to the right then, and either put Decky on the left or let Bergwijn have a crack over on the left-hand side with Reggie over there, and just do something. Just like Brian was saying, switch something up, go for it. Go to a 3-man midfield, go to a 1-man midfield if you have to. I go to a 6-man attacking prong. I don't care. Just get something done that's going to get us a result, right? That's I'm at that point right now, and I think it's just because we just went to such a height with those 4 out of 5 wins. We went from being in 7th place to 4th place. All of a sudden, this is realistic now. We had games in hand. We were playing well. We were banging in the goals, and we were just living life was great. We're dancing and partying, singing in the streets of Mardi Gras every day, boys. And then just got taken away, boom, like that. And I think that's what is really exceedingly frustrating as a Spurs fan, because it's just like you get to these heights, and then it's just not. You don't get taken down a level. You get your friggin' knees just chopped right out from underneath you, and you fall down like a stump kind of thing. And that's what's frustrating to me. And I'm of the mindset. Of course, I want to finish 4th, because if we don't finish 4th, we give Levy more incentive and to not be able to invest in the squad and stuff like that, and not support Conte. So we've got to finish 4th. We've got to get this win. We're gonna get it. What are we at? Everybody's saying 3-0, 3-1, because I'm in 2-1 heart. It is in my heart. So Kane loves scoring against Leicester. I think he'll bang one in for sure. And then who do we want to give the other goal to?
I have a different scoreline.
You have a different scoreline. Okay, so
come on, little K, give it to us, little K. Come on.
My man's going to take over on his own here. I'll give the other one to Benny, because I just want to finally see him get on the score sheet. His last 2 games has been very poor, so I'm hoping this is his bounce back game as well. And let's just get a result for the sake of the fans and everything. I was so pumped up with Brentford last week. I was so happy going into that game and everything. Really excited about it. So my excitement level is a little bit lower. I'm going to scale it back and stuff, because I'm trying not to get too pumped up so that they can crush my hopes and dreams like they like to do. I refuse to. So,
Bobby, I tried positive. I tried that reverse psychology last week. I predicted a draw, and it was a draw. So I've given up the reverse psychology now.
Your fault.
Well, whenever I predict a win, we lose, and whenever I predict a lose, we win. So who knows, man?
So I think you know what you need to do.
Yeah, Grandpa's always spot on. Little K, I want to hear from you. What's your score prediction?
It's not a good one.
Oh.
Okay, don't look at me. Look at them. Tell them.
I think Leicester's gonna
They
win
can't beat you. I
1-0.
can. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I think Leicester's gonna win 1-0.
Oh, really?
1-0. Wow. So another game with no shot on target.
Yeah.
Oh,
No shots either?
Bobby, you need to just step out of frame now, just completely at this point, and just no, not you, no, your dad.
Oh.
I love that. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why is it going to be 1-0 for Leicester?
Because we had 2 games in a row with 0 shots on target. We lost 3 points in both games. Especially because we beat Brighton 2 times in a row, and then we just lost to them. It's probably because they know how we're going to play against them the 3rd time, because we versed them 2 times. So we lost to them 1-0 with 0 shots on target. And Brentford have just been doing well, like really good. They beat West Ham before us, Chelsea before us.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was another team.
So you're saying a draw against Brentford's probably a good result then?
Sorry?
So were you saying a draw against Brentford is probably a good result then, all the teams that they've beaten just prior to us?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think it was a good result for us at home in Brentford? Yeah? Okay.
Do you know what I like? I like the fact that the Kanglet, as I'm going to refer to him now, even at that precocious age, has already absorbed what it is to be a Spurs fan.
Yes,
You know?
yes. 11 years of misery I've bestowed on my child.
That's excellent parenting there, Bobby. Well done.
Yes. I've got him ready for disappointment through his entire life.
Was his first word bleak?
No, his first word was Spursy.
Well, anyway, go on. Sorry.
I don't know if you guys can see, but on our screen we're blue.
Oh, that's just the thing. That's okay. You're fine. Look up here. Yeah, your screen, you're blue. We're Smurfs. We're little.
No,
That's
you're
okay.
you're looking completely normal on the live show here. But anyway, I just want to get your YouTube channel. Tell us a bit about your YouTube channel.
Our YouTube channel is the 3 Spurs Boys.
The number 3 Spurs Boys.
No spaces.
No spaces, as Sean likes to say. # no spaces.
So everyone, go and subscribe to that channel. Maybe Bobby, if you can put the link in the live chat, people can be
Brian's
redirected over there.
Brian has put it in the live chat.
Brian has done it already.
He's already done it. He's already done it.
You know what? If there's any, I should call it 4 Spurs Boys with Brian Daigle out there. That guy, honestly, he's. I think some days when he just walks around the street with a sign out there saying 3 Spurs Boys, like and subscribe. Thanks all people. Have you liked and subscribed yet? Yeah, God bless you, Brian. I love you. Thanks for that, man. But guys, we're going to stay positive and everything like that. The boys are going to have their pre-game and post-game thing kicking off this week, and we'll have a little something for you guys. Well, they will have a little something for you. Hopefully you can enjoy it. But I know we've got to get the message out regarding this unfortunate incident with this elderly gentleman. I think it's absolutely disgusting. There seems to be a consistent way for us to put a black cloud on ourselves right before a game. And this is the one black mark now. We got to stop doing this. We need to start finding positives. We need to stay positive. This is all we can do. This is all we can do because we're absolutely fucked otherwise. So we gotta absolutely. So we gotta stay positive. We gotta just keep it going. And I really, really hope this is the bounce back game. I hope Conte ripped into them properly. I'm hoping because I'm fearful that at this point, if Conte doesn't get it right, the guns are going to be out for him, kind of thing, saying, "Oh, he's like Mourinho. He refuses to change his system. He's stubborn. He's this. He's that, and that, and he's not going to get it right." Guys, it's not the managers anymore. It's obvious. The common denominator goes higher up the food chain. So stop blaming managers. Stop blaming players. As much as it does come down to effort in there, the effort has been very poor. But at the end of the day, if they're not getting up for the game, it's because of lack of motivation, lack of inspiration. And that is a trickle-down effect from the top of the food chain. If your boss is an asshole, you're not going to come in and do a good, hard day's work.
Exactly.
Simple as that. So we got to do what we got to do to stay positive. Let's get through the next 5 weeks. Let's get to the summer and pray to God that we're all dancing and singing in the streets, because every day we're going to have to buy a new jersey with a new name on it, because that's how many quality players that we're going to bring in. And again, it's not about splashing the 60, 80 million on one player. If you have to buy 3 $20 million players, and those are the ones that Conte won, they change our team effectively, bring it up a level. I'm good with that. So that's where we stand. Yeah, you
big up, big up, big up, big up to the Kangs, Bobby K and Little K.
The Kanglet.
The Kanglet. Thank you so much for coming on today. Thanks for coming on today, guys. Everyone go and subscribe to the channel as well. The link is in the live chat as per Brian Daigle. But thanks for coming on, guys, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on! Come on! Love that. Great call from the Kangs. We've got a super chat here from Carl Patrick Vineyard saying, "It's not letting me join your session, Ben." I'm sure the guys in the back can sort that out. Can you see him? Oh, wait, we can't see you, so there's not much we can do. Maybe just try and disconnect and reconnect, which brings us on to our next guest, which is Ben Wills. How you doing, Ben?
What's up, Ben?
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I guess I'm doing all right.
Yeah, don't let Spurs get you too down.
How are you? It's not been a great week, but hopefully Spurs will cheer me up this weekend.
Yeah, it
Fingers
hasn't been a
crossed.
great week, but I definitely enjoyed watching the game last night at the London Stadium. That was a nice result to witness. And
To be honest,
how
that's
you-
the result I wanted.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it's
I could have done
what
with
we all
more goals for
wanted.
Frankfurt, but
Yeah, maybe 4-1.
Yeah,
Frankfurt
exactly.
would have been the ideal, but 2-1 will do.
yeah,
2-1
it'll
will
do for now. It'll be a tough game out in Germany next week for them. But we're not here to talk about West Ham. We're here to talk about the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. And how are you feeling coming into the game this weekend? I think that expression says it all, really.
Right, I think we can wrap up.
No, surely, probability, we should get more than one shot on target. We can't go 3 games in a row without a shot on target. Surely. Probability. Surely. So I think, if I can give my prediction score already, I'm going to say we're going to win 2-0.
2-0.
Very
Clean sheet
nice.
you're going for.
Very nice.
But I think it's going to be a struggle one. I think it's going to be one that we're going to suffer at the very beginning. Typical.
Okay.
Do you think Leicester are going to put out a weak side this weekend, or do you think that they'll just go full strength and see what happens on the
Yeah, that's the
midweek?
key question, I think, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely.
You know, when Arsenal played Chelsea, when I watched that game, and you could tell that
That was not a game of football. That was an abomination.
I know that there was a lot of questionable things. That was
theatre.
It was a horrible game, but you have to admit Arsenal knew they were fighting for something, and you could see it in them. They needed the win.
Yeah.
You could see that Chelsea are not. They're not fighting for anything right now. They're not going to get first place, and they're probably not going to get fourth either. They're quite well off in the middle. So, and you could really tell Arsenal wanted to fight that. So I'm hoping that comes to us as well. Like, we need this win. Leicester not fighting for anything, I don't think.
Not in the league, but Ben, we could have brought the same argument for the Brighton game. They're not fighting for anything.
Correct.
For the Brentford game, they're not fighting for anything.
Yep.
I've been watching Brighton for a bit now, and I thought they played really well. The fact that we played poorly, and I think Conte knows the way he plays very well, and he wants to keep playing that way because that's his way, and he knows it perfectly, his way. Problem is, we don't have quality players, and teams they know where our weak links are, which are our wing backs, and the system is based on the wing backs. It's a bit of a dodgy situation for us, but I do think now that we're behind Arsenal, it's different to when we played Brighton. I think because we're behind now, we're going to fight it even more. We have to. There's no other choice.
The question for me is that if the thing about it is that we've played these teams who have nothing to play for, or we think have nothing to play for. And we all talked about this as being a factor in whether or not we do well against them. And then we end up having no shots on target against both. Are we wrong, in your opinion, Ben, to consider the actual thing about whether or not our opposition has something to play for when we play them? Is it something that we shouldn't be concerned about and be concentrating more on what we're doing? Not that I think it's wrong. I'm just wondering whether or not we should be thinking about it.
No. Statistically, it doesn't mean we have to win. I'm being hopeful because that's
Fair
what
enough.
happened to Arsenal. Yeah. Arsenal fans would have been hopeful. I'm just being hopeful it's going to happen to us now. And Arsenal had to beat Chelsea. Chelsea had a weak team, and my goodness, they played dreadfully as well.
Yeah.
But and they were so lucky. So hopefully some luck rubs on us, like the first time we played against Leicester.
Yeah, we're due a bit of luck, aren't we? Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
How do you look at Spurs, and what way do you want to see them set up this weekend? Because obviously the flaws have been there for everyone to see. Nothing in the middle to combat the way other teams pack that midfield, and Harry Kane being completely followed by 2 or 3 men at all times. How would you like to see us combat that?
I hate these questions. So I think
There was
everybody.
despair in that voice.
Oh God! I think because we know that our wing backs are so bad, or At least our right wing back is dreadful, the one that we've got left, at least. And the system Conte has built is around wing backs. I think that's why we're all so desperate for a change. But at the same time, when we were playing with these players at a 4-3 or 4-2-3-1, it wasn't working either. And Conte, I think there's no chance that Conte changes his system. At most, we might change and have 2 up top instead of 3. That's at most, but we're still going to play the wing-back system because that's the Conte way. And Conte does look a bit stubborn as well, I think, into his ways of playing. But we can't doubt him. He is actually he's one of the best managers in the world, so we can't doubt him of his decisions. He's a human being. He can get decisions wrong. Yeah. But yeah, so I think we're going to stick to the same system. I can only wish that he was furious with that Emerson pass when he got taken off just after. He looked furious. So if there's any hope that Emerson might not start and he finds a different solution, I'd be really happy. So I think he's going to stick to the same system, the same players as usual. But if there's anything I'm going to hope for a change after seeing his anger out of that pass from Emerson, is that he tries somebody else at right wing back.
I've got a feeling
Emerson's going to be covering in behind. Emerson. Christian Romero is going to be covering behind him all the time anyway. Yeah. So might as well put an attacking player.
Yeah, I've got a feeling because we've got a source, that's feeding us a bit of information at the moment, and he claims that once he said this a few weeks ago. He says, if Emerson doesn't work out, he will put Sessegnon at right wing back. Oh, really? So I've got a feeling that it will be Reguilon and Sessegnon as the wing backs this week.
I'd rather see Reguilon on the right.
I think it'll be Sess on the right if it will be anyone.
Yeah, but I'd rather see Reguilon on the right. Reguilon's got a good right foot. And
for me, it's AWE. Anyone but Emerson. ABE. I can't even spell. That's maths, timekeeping, and spelling that I've lost.
It doesn't matter because you're going to get the score prediction spot on anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
it
evens itself out. Yeah. Predicted 4-1.
You, Ben?
No, Rez. Well, I predicted 3-1, and then I got coerced into predicting 4-1.
I forced him to say 4-1.
So I thought we'd win 3-0, but I'm saying,
say 4-1. Say 4-1 as well.
5-0. Why not? 5-0.
5-0. Oh, he's doubled down on that. What's your opinion on the top 4 race now? Obviously, we're behind Arsenal by 2 points. Are we going to do it?
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yes. We are getting top 4, lads. We are getting top 4. We haven't got the quality to be in top 4, but we're gonna get bloody top 4. We're gonna get top 4, guys. You know, it's really bad because when I came on last time, I was so happy. I was so positive. This week has been dreadful for me, and it's not been a good week. And now it's really struggling. We have to push. We have to get top 4. We have to believe we can get top 4. What we did against Ajax, what we did against Leicester the first game, that last bit of hope that we can still get with this team. I never give up. I'm never, ever give up. And as long as Conte's still here, thank God, please, yes, please.
Big up, Ben. Please. Thanks for coming on today, my friend. Great call.
Thanks, Ben.
We'll see you next time.
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on! That was a great call from Ben.
I think so.
A really good call.
Yeah.
And from one good caller to the next, we've got Coach Stell up next. Let's hope his internet holds up for us this time. Stell, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. I've just been chasing a delivery man down the road because he couldn't find my house, so I decided to just bugger off. without delivering the parcel.
Was he an Arsenal fan?
I don't think he knows what he was. It's like
certainly not a delivery man. Did you deliver your parcel? No.
Yeah, you get those people, they call you up like, "Where's your house?" I'm like, "How do you not know that? You're delivering it." Like, where is it? Describe it. Go to the end of the road. It's the last house on the left. Okay, I go right. No, left. I turn right. No, left. What are you doing? So I said to him, all right, look, just hold tight. I'll come outside. I come outside. He's walking away. Like, hey!
So you never got your parcel then. He's probably going to come midway through the call, isn't he?
No, I've got it. I've managed to catch up with him. Yeah, I've got it. That's why I'm the last caller of the day. I've been chasing the delivery guy.
Fair enough, Stel. I mean, I believe you wanted to have a few words on Daniel Levy and the fan and everything that's going on that we've been speaking about this stream.
To be fair, Rez has covered it eloquently on your show. He covered it on his show. I've put a video out on my channel. You guys spoke about it yesterday. There's not much more to say about it other than, over to you, Spurs. Just do the right thing. That's it.
Yeah.
Sort this out and set it straight. Having said that, it shouldn't take this for them to do the right thing.
Agreed.
So even if they do the right thing, I'm not going to go online and start praising them because we shouldn't have to go through this. That's the whole point. But let's see.
You shouldn't
let's
praise
see what
someone
happens.
for doing the bare minimum. The bare minimum is what is expected, not something to be praised.
Yeah, and they've stressed out the guy's family as well. Now, it just leaves a sour taste in the mouths of people, even if they do the right thing. And I don't even know if they are going to do the right thing, by the way. So let's see. It's just not on. It's not on at all at any football club. It's not on.
Agreed. Stel, let's talk about the game now. Obviously, 0 shots on target in the last 2 games. 1 point in the last 2 games. How do you look at Spurs tactically in this game, and how can we improve on what we have been doing in the last couple of games? Because teams have kind of packed the midfield, following Harry Kane everywhere he's going. How do we work around that?
To be fair, I think Spurs fans in general, have kind of created this. I don't want to say illusion, because when we were 4th, that wasn't an illusion; it was fact. But we've kind of created this mini hysteria. Like if you break it down, the way I see it is, we thrashed Everton and we thrashed Leeds United. They're both relegation teams. You're supposed to thrash them, right? We kind of just forgot that we lost to Middlesbrough and Burnley. So the warning signs are there. We then won a couple of games in a row to get ourselves into 4th. But in that process, did we play particularly well? Not really. I mean, Aston Villa, I said it at the time, I think we were lucky. That first half, they were all over us. The difference is we've got 2 of the most clinical players up front in Son and Kane. They don't need many chances. If you look at the stats on Son, I mean, Will Stewart's the guy for this, stat man. But the chances created and chances converted into goals, Son is unbelievable in Europe. So when you've got players like that, it's almost like 1 chance, 1 goal. And I think Son and Kane have been masking over a lot of the cracks that have been there. Now that we're not getting the ball to them and we're not creating those chances, you're now seeing that we either draw or lose by a goal. And that's kind of what's happened. So I think the biggest problem is we're not creating the chances that would normally win us the game. So it's a problem, because other than Kane, who really can create in our team? Who really has the ability to play those killer passes, those through balls, link up the defence to the attack? There's not really anyone else in the team that can do it. So it's a difficult one, Ben.
And, are you of the same opinion that Emerson needs to come out of the team?
Emerson needs to leave the club.
Yeah, but obviously we're not in a transfer window right now. But from now until the end of the season, would you like to see Emerson come out of the team? And if so, who would you put there?
As it stands now, you can't, because we don't have another right back unless we give Lavernier a go, or we give a young player from the academy, an under 23 a go. I thought about this. I mean, we did try and speak about it last time, but I got cut off. People are talking about, Kulusevski can play there. What about Bergwijn, Moura? The issue I've got with that is you're going to play a player out of position, and then if that doesn't work, what's everyone going to say then?
If the player in position is not providing anything for us and not showing that he can play that role competently, then why not try and put a square peg in a round hole?
That's the argument. That's the argument. I just think it's a very risky thing to do with 5 games to go. Very risky.
Is it not
especially
risky playing Emerson?
Do you know, Ben? I'm sitting on the fence, and I never sit on the fence. I never sit on the fence. I'm 50-50 on this one. I don't know. I actually don't know. I think we've got ourselves into a situation where the player we had in that position was beginning to show signs of competence. I'm not going to say Doherty's good, but he was showing competence. He gets injured, and the backup's awful. I would see. I was actually saying try Cess one side, try Reggie the other. But Sessegnon against Brentford was terrible. You know, he's another player that I think we've overhyped. He's not good enough. So, you could go to a back. Do you know what? Maybe we just. I would rather go to a back 4. I'd rather go to a back 4 and play Ben Davies as a left back.
Do you not see that as risky with Dyer in there? Because we've seen Dyer in a back 2 pairing, and there's not enough cover for his inadequacies.
I think whatever we do, Rez, it's risky now. Whatever we do, if we play, put a square peg in a round hole is risky. Going to a back 4 is risky. Whatever we do, we're going to have to do something we haven't done before, and that's a risk, isn't it? So there's no wrong or right with this, guys. Anyone that calls up with a solution isn't wrong, and anyone on your show on the panel who comes up with a solution, you're not wrong either. There's no proven answer to this. So Ben, do you know what? Having said that. Yeah, if try Bergwijn and Moura, I won't be against it. I won't, because there's no wrong or right here. We're just in a really we're just up shit street with this one.
Yeah,
it's one of those where the manager's just banging his head against the brick wall, thinking, "What the hell do I do?"
Do you think we're a bit lucky this weekend coming up against the Leicester team bang in the middle of 2 European semi-finals against a strong Roma side? Do you think they will play a weak team this weekend?
I think Arsenal are lucky as well. West Ham have got injuries, and they're in the middle of a Europa Cup tie, so it works both ways for the race to top 4. I know, but they're our rivals for top 4.
Yeah, no, they are.
Listen, they're our rivals for top 4. You know, I know we don't want to mention it, and I get why, but
I'll tell you my opinion on the difference between our game and Arsenal's game. West Ham still have that hope of finishing in the European spots in the league. They can still do it. They're still in touching distance. They know if they go out to Frankfurt next week, losing the first leg, their European hopes could be in tatters for next season if they don't pick up their league form. Leicester, all their eggs are pretty much in the Conference League basket, isn't it?
How far are West Ham off of the top 6?
They're in at all.
Let me just get it. West Ham are 52
only a few points.
They're 3 points with a game in hand.
3 points. Right. The thing is, though, if Leicester win the European Conference League, does that guarantee West Ham top 6 or not? I don't know how it works.
No, I think it takes one of the league spots.
No, I don't think it impacts the league at all. To be honest.
So would it be 3 players? Oh, no,
they'll have England will have an extra team in Europe, I think.
Right.
I don't know the rules. You guys know better than me on this. I guess if you look at it that way, we have got the easier tie. But then, is any game easy for Tottenham right now?
No game is easy. No game is easy.
But West Ham could also be looking at Man United and saying, we can catch them.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can. As a backup, they can. I don't disagree with that at all, actually. I think this game. I agree with the last caller. We have to win this one. As in, if we don't win this, it's we're really, really, really clutching, especially with Liverpool coming up after. Where some fans say we're going to get something at Anfield. I'm convinced we're losing that game. I think Liverpool are just right now absolute fire. Whatever they do is just working.
And they're going for the league. They will be right on top of it. I know they're playing for.
Did you watch the Merseyside derby?
Yeah. Everton stifled them for a while.
Yeah. I thought Liverpool were there for the taking in that game. I really did.
The thing is, though, Ben, they still won it, and this is it with Liverpool. They've got the gears to go through, and they've got the players to come off the bench. I mean, they bring on Jota, we bring on Moura.
I get that, but Everton, if they had a more quality up front, they could have got something out of that game. And we've got Kane and Son hitting them when they've got a very high line. I'm not saying we're going to win the game or get a draw or anything, and we most probably will lose, but we do have the tools to hurt a team that play that way.
Look, anything is possible. Like, anything is possible. We could definitely get something in that game. We could even shock the whole world and win. Anything is possible. Liverpool get a red card, go down to 10 men. Spurs get 2 penalties, a dodgy bit. You don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not right. I'm not completely writing this off, because a couple of weeks ago on Henry Wright's show, we had this big kind of heated debate about Spurs are going to get top four. Look at the remaining games, and and everyone was predicting it. And I remember saying, I said on that show, you can't predict anything at the business end, because everyone has got something to play for, even if you don't think they do. I'll give an example. Arsenal play Leeds United. That should be a winner for Arsenal. I disagree, because Jesse Marsch, he's got something to prove. He's an American coach trying to prove that Americans can coach at the elite level, and he wants to be the coach next season. You look at the Newcastle game. Oh, Newcastle, they're safe now. They've got nothing to... No. Eddie Howe wants that job. That is the best job in world football, because it's going to be given the most money to spend. So he wants to prove that he's the man for Newcastle next year. So likewise, even Leicester City, they don't just want to turn over, because if they lose to Spurs, that harms their confidence for the second leg against Roma. So every game is big. And I was trying to have this debate with Sava, Will and Henry, saying, guys, stop predicting the last 8 games. It's the business end. It's all about bottle. And that's when I famously said, unfortunately, our lot of bottle jobs. So Leicester City, anything is possible. We could win, we could draw, we could lose. State the obvious. Yeah, I know. But if I think we will win, because we really, really, really have to. As in, if we do not win this, it's game over for me. If we draw, I won't be surprised. I'll be shocked if we lose this one, though. I'll be honest with you. Because it took a last-minute Brighton goal to beat us. Brentford, we got a draw. Honestly, if we lose to Leicester, I'll actually be shocked that we've lost 3 in a row. We haven't won 3 in a row.
Do you genuinely see a draw as a possibility?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's Tottenham, Rez. No other reason. It's Tottenham. If it was, bloody hell! It's up here, Rez. It's up here with our lot. It's up here. We still got
agreed.
players that have had a good season by their standards, like Dyer and Ben Davies. A lot, we've all said, they've had a good season, but they've had a good season by their standards. They're not by the levels we want to be at. When you compare them to Romero, they're a shadow of Romero as a defender. So when you've still got players like Davies, Dyer, Winks, Bergwijns, Moras, Sessis, Reggies, Emersons, Doherty's, when you've got these players in the squad, there's a bottleness there. There's a lack of ability to get it over the line. The reason we always used to get top 4 with Poch is because we had a much better group of players. Their problem was they couldn't get the trophies. This lot, they're 2 steps down. They can't, are they going to get top 4? I just feel we don't have the mindset in the squad. We've got 5 or 6 players, I think, that are capable. The rest, I want to believe, I do. But I just can't drag myself into that again after the last 3 years. There's too many players at this club still here that don't have what it takes for this level.
I think
and that's where I see it.
Believe you're going to have to wear an Arsenal shirt on the screen.
Well, you sent me a text message saying, "Stel, are you ready to come on and wear the shirt?" And what did I say to you, Ben? Hold tight on that, not yet. And then we didn't win for 2 games, and suddenly my forfeit is looking like it's not going to happen. So
yeah,
look, I hope you're right, because I want us to get top 4. I get a lot of grief over this, but I keep saying to fans, I'm a season ticket holder. I want to watch Spurs play Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, not Pacos de Ferreira, Rennes, and Eintracht Frankfurt. It's in my interest for us to get 4th as a spectator, and as a fan, it gives me bragging rights over Arsenal, which I love. So it's not that I don't want it. I'm just trying to be balanced and honest with what I really believe in terms of what I see.
We get that still.
And I just don't see them getting this one over the line. If it goes to the last game and they prove me wrong and we get it, listen, I can't lose, because if we don't get it, Stelios was right. if we do get it, I'm wrong, but haha, I get to celebrate getting full. So I'm in a nice position, guys, except for the forfeits. That's a bit of a problem, actually.
That's why, for all the pleasure, there has to be pain.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons for both of you on both sets. So we got a question for you from Cody Mack, and he says, question for Stel, what's on the menu if we don't get top 4?
Because he knows I'm going to cook everyone. Tell Cody he can write the menu. I'll serve it up.
All right, big up. And I know you don't like doing predictions this stage of the season, but I'm still going to ask you for one. What's your prediction for the game? I'm
going to go 2-1 Tottenham.
2-1
and for the record, last game I predicted 5-2. That worked out well.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you one thing I would like to see in this game, guys. I would like to see, because this midfield is a problem, if we're not going to go 3-5-2, I would like to see Conte instruct the wing-backs when we are out of possession, one of the wing-backs to tuck into the middle. Just tuck into the middle and give that third, give that extra player in the midfield. If we're not going to drop a player into it.
Doherty was doing that when he was in the team.
Well, he's got to get that message across to Emerson or whoever plays on the left, because we can't keep getting overrun in the middle. I mean,
I don't think it can be Emerson, because if Emerson did that, he'd just get in everyone's way. It has to be the left wing back who does it, and then on the right, there's no outlet. It
depends, though, Rez. If they attack us on the left side, then it's Emerson who has to tuck in. It depends what side they attack us on, but something like that has to happen where there's a movement of the players into the middle of the park when we're getting overloaded. Or what he really should do is just go to a 3-5-2. That's the best thing. And there's no guarantees that will work either.
Winks or Harry Kane dropping further deep?
Oh, Harry Kane. He's the only player that can create for us right now. Harry Kane. And
what about Asan?
One other thing,
Asan, who said
we
Kulu
don't
possibly.
Kulu as well could do it. Yeah.
Kulu is the third midfielder.
Well, Kulu has played in that role before, so yeah, he could be an attacking mid. I don't have an issue with that. Although when he has been good, he's been good in the current position on the right side of the three up front. So why not? We got
completely the last 2 games. Yeah.
But do you know, guys, my biggest frustration with Conte is a slight stubbornness to not change it when it's not working. I get why he's doing it. He's trying to install the system ready for next year, should he get the players he wants. Pep and Klopp did the same thing. They were very stubborn in their early years to install the system, and now look at the rewards. Okay, so I get why Conte's doing it, but I just feel it could cost us top 4. Whether he gives a shit about top 4 or not, I don't know, because he has to be backed whatever position we finish. He has to be backed. So maybe in his head, who cares about top 4? I want to be backed no matter where I finish. But there is a slight stubbornness, and I'll give an example. Arsenal went on that 3-game losing streak, and then what did Arteta do? He put Xhaka back into the holding mid, brought in El Neni into the squad into the holding mid, dropped Lacazette and put Nketiah up front. He made 3 changes, and now Arsenal have found a bit more get up and go about them. They're still not good, but they've got more about them now. He's kind of done tactical changes to try and get something going, and it kind of has worked. Conte hasn't done that yet, so I'm hoping he will do that. Whether it's change to 3-5-2 with Kane in the attacking mid or Kulusevski, changing the wing back position like you suggested, play Bergwijn or Kulu there, telling the wing back to tuck in when we get overloaded. That has to happen for me. That has to happen. Because my fear is not that the 3-4-3 won't work, but teams have sussed out how to stop it. There's a blueprint there. So we need to counter that now with the plan B.
Yeah, completely agree. Just before we let you go, Iggy has just commented and he says, Stel calling Conte stubborn. Love it.
There's a bit of flaming going on there.
Yeah, this is Iggy who said, my chips are all in, and we dropped to 5th.
And last but not least, a few people have been asking if, because today is season ticket renewal day, have you renewed?
Have you renewed? Yeah.
I'm renewing 1 hour before the deadline, so 4 p.m. I'm going to renew. I'm reducing the amount of time he has access to my money. Like the absolute bare minimum. Hopefully he doesn't crash.
Can I make a suggestion on that, Stel? Just double check the site maybe a couple of hours before to make sure it's still running, because you don't want to log on at like 4 o'clock and it's like, sorry, the website is down.
Yeah, I know. That would be typical, wouldn't it? It just, sorry, your renewal has been declined.
Big up, Stel. Thanks for coming on today, mate, and we'll speak to you soon. Hopefully I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, I'll see you both Sunday. Big up, Ben. Big up, Rez.
Take care, mate.
Nice one, Stel. Is there anyone else waiting? All right, that is it for today. Actually, we've got one super chat before we go from Essa El Shamari, and says, "Morning, lads. Is this the last chance for Levy?" I think he's been past his last chance.
He's a long time ago. The reason he's still there is because I think just there isn't enough. There aren't enough of us who have yet realised that it's.
But if he screws up Conte,
if he screws up Conte, there's nowhere to hide.
But if he does screw up Conte and he brings in Pochettino, does that bring a lot of the fan base on side again? Do you reckon?
I think there'll be some that will, but I think most people will be reasoned enough to say, hold on a minute, you couldn't give. Conte wasn't good enough for you. Why should Poch be? This is not to disparage Poch in any way, whatever. You know, when he was with us, he was a far better fit than Conte. But we're not there anymore. We're not that club anymore. We are in a state of transition. I mean, sacking a manager 4 days or a week or 6 days, however long it was before a cup final was bad enough. Doing it in the middle of a transition is beyond idiotic and actually just getting into the realms of lunacy. It's just ridiculous. And so anyone with half a brain will turn around and say, this guy really doesn't know what he's doing as a football chairman.
Agreed.
So yeah, I don't see how he can justify surviving. Whether he does or doesn't, that's a different issue.
Either way, let's hope for 3 points this weekend.
Absolutely.
Big game in terms of the top 4 race. If we do win, I do firmly believe that it will put a lot of pressure on Arsenal. We'll see how they respond to that pressure, because the last time they were put under pressure of us going above them, they did collapse for 3 games.
Yep.
So I'm hoping for something of a similar ilk. I'm not banking on it, but I'm hoping for it. We'll see you all again very soon. Predicted lineup and match preview will be up with you tomorrow. Today you'll be getting the press conference and potentially a Tottenham update as well. So a lot of content coming your way. Obviously on Sunday you've got the watch along with Bob back in the studio.
Nice.
And Sim here for the watch along and the fan show. And then obviously I will be inside the stadium grabbing all the content for you guys. Hopefully I'll be non-stop sending in goals as there'll be a flurry of Spurs goals this weekend. Actually, just before you go, Jory says he's waiting. Is he there? Apparently we can't see you, Jory. We can't see you in the back end. And actually there's been a super chat here from Bobby K saying, big up We Are Tottenham TV for the support for the kids. God bless the Spurs community and keep us united as a football family. Come on, you Spurs. And with a big blue heart.
While he's checking that, can I do a shout out to someone?
Of course you can.
So my non-football following friend Ali Mack has been in the chat, so I just want to say hello to Ali.
Big up Ali
Thanks for
Mack.
tuning in.
But if we can't see Jory in the back end, unfortunately we can't see you, Jory. Not sure why. We couldn't see KPV either, but we do got to get on because we've got a lot of content to make today. But thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.